Today, I will tell you about two terrifying and tragic events. You can decide which tragic event affects you more while watching. Viewer discretion is advised. Nestled in the heart of the French Alps, Gouffre Berger is one of the world's deepest and most complex cave systems. Its labyrinthine passages, jagged rock formations, and sheer vertical drops make it a destination where seasoned cavers come to test their limits. But in June 2024, this cave became the stage for a tragedy that would shake the caving community for years to come. Three cavers, Pierre, Marie Dupont, and Luc Bernard, ventured into its depths, but only one would make it out alive. Pierre, 42, was a veteran caver with over 20 years of experience. He had conquered Europe's toughest caves and had navigated Gouffre Berger successfully twice before. Marie, 38, was both his life partner and his caving companion. Though she shared Pierre's passion for exploration, she was naturally more cautious. Luc, 26, was the group's newest member, eager but inexperienced. His enthusiasm was contagious, but his lack of seasoning would prove costly on this fateful trip. The trio arrived at the cave's entrance on a crisp morning. Gouffre Berger's dark opening loomed before them like a void, swallowing the daylight. They double-checked their gear: helmets, headlamps, ropes, carabiners, and enough food and water for 2 days. The first few hours went smoothly. They rappelled down vertical shafts, squeezed through tight crevices, and marveled at the cave's haunting beauty. Stalactites dangled from the ceilings like chandeliers, and the faint drip of water echoed through the chambers. The air was damp and chilly, hovering around 50 F. But as they ventured deeper, the passages tightened, the walls closing in like the jaws of some ancient beast. Trouble struck in a section called the Narrows, a twisting, claustrophobic network of tunnels so tight they sometimes had to hold their breath to pass through. Pierre navigated these squeezes with ease, his experience guiding him. Marie followed with careful, deliberate movements. But Luc struggled. His broader frame made maneuvering a challenge, and his breathing grew rapid as the walls pressed closer. Midway through the Narrows, Luc's foot slipped on a slick rock, wedging him into a tight spot. His body twisted awkwardly, his chest pinned between two limestone slabs. Panic flashed in his eyes as he realized he couldn't budge. Pierre, hearing his muffled cry from ahead, doubled back. But the cave showed no mercy. The rock gripped Luc like a vice, and every attempt to free him only tightened its hold. Marie tried pulling his legs from behind, but the angle was off, and her efforts failed. Luc's face drained of color, his breath short and frantic. The weight of the mountain above seemed to press down, as if crushing him slowly. Deeper in, they reached the abyss, a vertical shaft plunging over 100 feet into darkness. The walls glistened with moisture, the air thick with humidity. Pierre rigged the ropes, his actions robotic, his mind still reeling from Lutz's death. Marie, usually steady, was visibly rattled. Her hands shook as she clipped into her harness, her gaze flickering to the shadows below. Pierre descended first, his headlamp piercing the gloom. Marie followed, her breath catching with every foot. Halfway down, disaster struck. A rope, worn thin by years of use, snapped under Marie's weight. She screamed as she fell, her cry bouncing off the walls. Pierre, below, watched in horror as her body crashed onto the jagged rocks with a sickening thud. He scrambled to her side, but the impact had been devastating. Marie lay still, her limbs bent unnaturally, blood pooling beneath her. Pierre cradled her head, tears mixing with the cave's dampness. "Marie, please," he whispered, his voice cracking. But she was gone. Her vibrant eyes stared blankly into the void. The cave had taken her too. Now, Pierre was utterly alone. Grief threatened to crush him, but survival instinct took over. He had to escape, to tell the world what happened. He stumbled through the darkness, his headlamp dimming as its batteries faded. The cave seemed to twist around him, passages bending illogically. Exhaustion gnawed at him, his muscles screaming with every step. Hours bled into days' time, lost all meaning. His throat burned with thirst, his water depleted. His mind began to unravel. He heard Lutz's laughter, Marie's gentle whispers, but turning revealed only shadows. The cave mocked him, its walls tightening with every breath. At last, he hit a dead end. A massive rockfall blocked his path, the boulders too heavy to shift. He clawed at them until his fingers bled, but it was futile. The cave had ensnared him, just as it had Luc and Marie. Pierre slumped against the cold stone, his headlamp flickering out, plunging him into blackness. In his final moments, he thought of the surface sun on his skin, wind in his hair. He pictured Luc and Marie, their smiles forever etched in his memory. Then, as his strength ebbed away, he surrendered to the cave's embrace. A week later, a rescue team recovered Pierre's body alongside Lutz's and Marie's. Gouffre Berger had claimed 3 lives, its beauty forever stained by tragedy. The caving community grieved, and the cave's reputation darkened. For those who know the tale, Gouffre Berger is no longer just a test of skill. It's a stark reminder of nature's indifference and the fragility of human life. Do you think the first event affected you a lot? Don't decide on this before watching the second tragic event. Lechuguilla Cave, nestled in the rugged terrain of Carlsbad Caverns National Park in New Mexico, stands as one of the world's most mysterious natural wonders. With over 140 miles of labyrinthine passages plunging deep into the earth, it reveals an underground realm of crystal formations, gypsum chandeliers, and untouched beauty. Discovered in 1986, its remote location draws seasoned cavers and thrill-seekers like a magnet, captivated by its pristine isolation and unrelenting challenges. On June 14, 2024, this geological marvel became the stage for a horrific tragedy that claimed 2 lives and left an indelible mark of terror on the survivors. The inevitable end had caught up with them early. In the history of caving, they were neither the first nor the last. A few minutes from now, you will witness the extremely tragic deaths of the people lying here. Ethan Caldwell, 42, was no stranger to the underground. A veteran caver with over 15 years of experience, his lean frame bore the scars of countless expeditions' calloused hands, faint scratches from jagged rocks, and a posture honed by years in tight passages. For Ethan, caving wasn't just an adrenaline rush. It was a way to experience the depths of existence few ever witness. His expertise lay in technical caving, a discipline demanding meticulous planning, specialized gear, and a profound understanding of subterranean environments. Lechuguilla, with its uncharted depths and treacherous terrain, loomed as the ultimate test of his skills waiting to be conquered. Joining him on this adventure were 4 carefully chosen companions, selected for their experience and grit. Rachel Harper, 38, was the team's geologist, her sharp mind an encyclopedia of the cave's mineral wonders and structural quirks. Having mapped underground systems for years, her calm demeanor served as a steadying force in high-stakes situations. Tyler Brooks, 29, brought youthful energy and rope-rigging finesse to the group. His athletic build was tailor-made for vertical descents. Lauren Mitchell, 34, was tasked with keeping the team safe, her focus unwavering. Rounding out the crew was Jacob Pierce, 40, a photographer, Jacob Pierce, whose camera was built to capture the hidden beauty of the underworld. The expedition kicked off under clear skies, the New Mexico sun scorching the team across the arid landscape. Lechuguilla's entrance, a subtle sinkhole, belied the complexity below. Access to the cave was tightly regulated, granted only to proven experts, and the team had secured their permits months in advance. Their plan was ambitious: to explore a newly discovered passage branching off the eastern rift, rumored to house rare calcite formations. They hauled an arsenal of gear: ropes, carabiners, headlamps, backup lights, and emergency oxygen tanks, every piece triple-checked before descent. Inside, the cave's constant 68°F temperature and near 100 humidity promised grilling conditions. The initial drop went off without a hitch. A 200-foot rappel landed them in the cave's upper levels, vast chambers aglow with delicate aragonite crystals. Ethan led the way, his movements fluid and confident, reading the rock like a seasoned adventurer. Rachel followed, her eyes scanning for the slightest hazards: loose sediment, fractured limestone, anything signaling danger. Tyler handled the ropes, anchoring them with precision, while Lauren monitored their progress, tracking depth and air quality with a handheld device. Jacob hung back, occasionally snapping shots of the surreal scenery with his camera. For hours, they pressed deeper, navigating narrow tunnels and vertical shafts. The eastern rift emerged ahead, its entrance a jagged maw, barely wide enough for a person to squeeze through. The air grew heavy, thick with humidity and a faint whiff of sulfur. Ethan signaled a pause, checking their reserves' oxygen levels steady, no signs of exhaustion. The passage ahead promised a 150-foot vertical drop into uncharted territory. Ropes were prepped, harnesses tightened, and the team began their slow, methodical descent. Trouble struck without warning. Halfway down the chute, a low rumble echoed through the cave, the sound no caver wants to hear. Rockfall. A limestone slab, loosened by unseen erosion, broke free from the ceiling and hurtled toward them. Ethan anchored mid-rope, instinctively swung aside as debris roared past. Rachel, below him, wasn't so lucky. The rock slammed into her shoulder, pinning her against the wall. Her headlamp shattered, plunging her into darkness. Tyler, watching in shock from above, shouted, but the cave swallowed his voice. Lauren, lower down, sprang to stabilize Rachel, while Jacob fumbled for his backup light, hands shaking. The impact dazed Rachel. Her right arm hung limp, blood trickling from above her temple. Pain etched her face, but she stayed conscious, her training kicking in. Lauren assessed the damage: possible fracture, mild concussion, but their position was the real threat. The chute was too narrow for a stretcher, and the unstable ceiling hinted at more collapse. Ethan rappelled down fast, his mind racing through options. Getting out now was their only shot, but moving Rachel risked worsening her injuries. The team's cohesion frayed, each member shifting into survival mode. Ethan made the call. They'd climb out together, supporting Rachel with a makeshift harness. Tyler rigged the ropes, his sweat-slick fingers struggling with knots. Jacob ditched his now useless camera and took point, lighting the way. The ascent was brutal. Rachel's weight strained the ropes, her shallow breaths a ticking clock. Disaster doubled when Tyler's anchor gave way. A carabiner, worn by years of stress, snapped under tension, sending him plummeting 30 feet. He hit a ledge, his body crumpling against the rock. The sound, a dull, sickening thud, reverberated through the chute. Lauren lunged to secure the rope, but it was too late. Tyler lay still, his head twisted at an unnatural angle, blood pooling beneath. Panic gripped the survivors, but their training held them together. Ethan checked his pulse, nothing. The reality was gut-wrenching. They'd lost him. There was no time to grieve. The team pushed on. Rachel's condition worsened, her breathing erratic, her skin clammy. The climb stretched into an eternity, every inch a battle against gravity and despair. Jacob's light flickered, its battery dying, casting eerie shadows on blood-streaked rock. Ethan's muscles screamed, his focus narrowing to the next hold, the next pull. Lauren's voice, steady despite the strain, kept them moving. Safety protocols became their lifeline. After 6 agonizing hours, they reached the upper chamber. Rachel was semi-conscious, Tyler's absence a gaping wound. Ethan radioed for help, the signal weak but enough. Park rangers and a rescue team mobilized, descending with stretchers and medical kits. Rachel was extracted first, her vitals fading en route to the hospital, her injuries too severe to survive the trip. Ethan and Lauren followed, bodies spent, minds numb. On the surface, the rescue operation unfolded. Despite all efforts, Rachel succumbed to internal bleeding, passing before reaching the hospital. Tyler's body remained inside for a day, his death ruled instantaneous from a broken neck. Autopsies confirmed the cave's merciless toll. Ethan and Lauren survived physically intact, but forever altered. Jacob quit caving entirely, his passion replaced by a hollow void. Lechuguilla Cave slipped back into timeless silence, its depths unyielding, its beauty untouched by human cost. For Ethan, the expedition left a scar deeper than rock, could carve a haunting reminder of the razor-thin line between mastery and mortality. The cave endures, a silent witness to triumph and tragedy, its passages awaiting the next bold soul.